The tremor signals the arrival of a titan. Faced with the monstrous intruder, the colony's champion raises its needle sword in defiance.
Beneath the roots of an ordinary tree, a tiny kingdom lived with giant dreams. Among them was one small warrior, brave in heart, but still learning to lead. To the ants, every leaf was a roof, every pebble was a mountain.
Their world was small, but their civilization was busy, clever, and full of life. Even their peaceful mornings came with accidents, noise, and tiny disasters. From their eyes, the smallest path felt like a dangerous road. The young soldiers trained hard, though most battles were still against balance. Then, beneath the laughter, the ground whispered something strange. At first, it was only a vibration, too soft for fear, too strong to ignore. The hero turned toward the tall grass, where the silence felt alive.
Across the kingdom, every ant stopped as the earth began to tremble. The scouts ran to investigate, bravely, loudly, and not very gracefully. Beyond the outer wall, they found marks no ant had ever made. One broken fence revealed the truth. Something massive had crossed their border. Fear arrived quickly, and dignity left the scouts even faster. But the hero did not laugh, because the scale was still warm. Then the tall grass opened, and the kingdom saw its nightmare. A snake monster had found them, bigger than any enemy in their history. Every movement of the beast became an earthquake for the tiny city. For one small ant, even the snake's breath felt like a storm. The hero saw fear spreading faster than the monster itself. The first strike broke the wall and turned order into wild confusion. Then the chaos became personal, because the weakest could not escape. He was small, but courage made him stand taller than fear. By sunset, their peaceful home had become a battlefield of dust and smoke. That night, the ants stopped running and began to think like a nation.
Their plan was serious, even when their meetings were not.
The hero understood one thing. Giants still have weak points. Before sunrise, the tiny kingdom became a factory of impossible courage. Their machines were small, but their spirit sounded like thunder. Every bridge, boat, and tunnel became part of the coming battle. Not every weapon worked perfectly, but every mistake taught them quickly. Inside the wooden tanks, bravery smelled a lot like panic. At dawn, the hero saw a broken kingdom ready to rise. The snake returned, expecting prey, but found an army waiting. The beast did not understand their weapons, but it understood defiance.
One raised sword turned fear into movement, and movement into war.
The battlefield opened like a living machine, made of courage and chaos.
First attack was brave, fast, and only partly under control.
From below, the monster was not a creature, but a moving mountain. Their pebbles could not stop the snake, but they could make it angry.
The tail strike scattered soldiers like seeds in a storm.
For a moment, victory felt far away, and loss felt very close.
He stepped forward, not because he was fearless, but because others were afraid. The plan began, not to defeat the giant with strength, but with control. The ropes held, the bridge screamed, and one soldier became accidental bait. On the rope, bravery looked a lot like screaming in the wind. The hero was not fighting the snake. He was moving the battlefield. Near the water, the monster's weight became its weakness. The fire team prepared their tiny weapons with enormous nervousness. Across the puddle, leaf boats sailed like warships into danger. Smoke blinded the beast, and for the first time, it stepped backward. The hero climbed toward the one place every giant tries to protect.
Each breath of the snake nearly threw her into the sky.
At the eye, he remembered every broken home behind him. Below him, the entire kingdom pulled with every piece of strength left. Then the hero made the choice that turned a battle into a legend. The trap closed, not with force, but with timing, trust, and courage. The giant fell, and the tiny world shook with impossible victory. The battle was not silent after victory. It breathed, cracked, and settled. From the monster's view, the smallest creatures had become unstoppable. The wounded were lifted first, and laughter returned carefully, like sunlight. A kingdom is not saved when the enemy falls, but when rebuilding begins. He remembered the cost, because every victory leaves footprints in the heart. To the young ants, he was no longer just a warrior. Life returned, still busy, still messy, and still wonderfully small. The hero walked through the city he had nearly lost. But beyond the wall, the tall grass had not finished speaking. Then a scout returned with a scale larger than the first. Far away, the ground moved again, not once, but in 3 directions. The hero understood that some victories are only the beginning.
Without orders, the tiny kingdom prepared to stand together once more.
They were small under the giant world, but together they were unbreakable.
And beyond the wall, something even larger was already coming.